Welcome to another video with me, the Stonk Dad. I thought that I'd get on here and do a little bit of a market recap for you and a trade recap. I have been kind of slacking this week on videos, and I kind of enjoy doing market recaps and telling you guys how well tools worked with market data, as well as how I did. I'm pretty transparent in everything that I do, so I'd be happy to share what happened during my trade, and then also kind of what happened today with Apple earnings and Amazon, which it kind of threw the market for a loop today. I'm not gonna lie, but I hope you guys enjoy. I do want to do these more, so please nag me in the comments and tell me to do these, or on Discord or Twitter or whatever. Because honestly, it motivates me to get on here and talk to myself in front of a camera. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right, guys. So today we did start pretty bearish, and excuse the children in the background if you hear them. I don't know if you'll be able to hear them, but I can hear them outside of my room here. They're screaming. Anyways, so the market did start off pretty bearish, as you can see. Oh, it's kind of hard. It's kind of cut off here a little bit. Let me let's move this down a little bit. Maybe you can see it. Okay, there we go. Move this over. Okay, now you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so you can see that the market started off very, very bearish as far as flow goes, and that triggered my bearish senses, my tingly bearish senses right at market open, and I did take a short trade today, which ended up in profit, and I'm going to go over that here pretty shortly. No pun intended, short. Dad joke. So bad. Anyways, yeah, I'll show you guys my thought process during that trade, as well as kind of my strategy going through that, because it did go green pretty quickly and I scaled out just in the nick of time. So I'll go over that pretty quick, but just to do a little bit of a market recap before I move on. Flow did start off pretty pretty bearish, and then call flow started to pick up pretty much like an hour or two after the market opened, and then you can see we had a pretty nice uptrend for most of the day. Okay, so let's go through my trade as well as my thought process while all this was going on. I'm sure you guys are interested in that. I don't know if you are, but if you're not, then I don't know why you're sitting through this video. Anyways, let's get a move on here. Okay, so usually what I do, as far as in this Discord server, I usually kind of go through my thought process and pinpoint important things as the day progresses. I show gamma exposure levels as far and as well as market net flow and the convergence tool. So this was pretty much right at market open. So 641. You can see that that's market open for me. 630 is market open. So just keep that in your little notepad there as I'm moving through this. I am Pacific time. So I showed you guys that flow started pretty bearish. I screenshotted that right away, and then I could see that these were pretty small gamma exposure levels, but nonetheless there are still some gamma exposure levels to the downside. I think we were hovering around like 450 or so. We can use this for reference. So we did open at 448 at market open here. Okay, so we did come up a little bit slightly at market open, and then I entered puts around this 449 level when we did have this slight little downturn here, and you guys will see kind of my thought process here. So it said 449 magic gamma exposure level is currently holding its resistance. If it flips red convergence on me, I'm in puts. That's what I said at 7:09 a.m. You could see that 449 was holding at 7:09. This was around 7:09 here, 7:10. You can see oh, you can't really see the time slot. Okay, this is 7:10 right around here. So this is 449, this yellow line, and that's what I kind of was saying. 449 magic gex is holding its resistance. I'm in puts if red convergence flips. So once that happened, I can show you over here kind of what I got in. Let me move my camera so I can see. Okay, so this is when I got in right when the convergence flipped. That's when I got in. So kind of up on this little upburst on on the EMA here is when I got in. I pretty much got a very lucky fill. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because right when I got in, I was like insta up 10% on my SPY puts. So I started trimming right away, and it was only for a little bit. It was like within 10 or 15 minutes, I was up to like 30% or so on this little downturn here right below the 448 level. So I was up pretty quickly on those. I usually get 1 to 2 day expirations because I don't hold for very long. But nonetheless, I was up pretty quickly. It was kind of hard for you guys to get filled, but nonetheless, I was up pretty fast. So I always start to trim right away at like 10 to 15%, and then I trim pretty much my full position around 20%. So that's exactly what I did there. And then I held runners and I set the rest at break even once that happened. So, and why I do that is because exactly what happened today. We had a nice uptrend, and I got stopped out at break even, and I made profit on that trade. Even though I took a short trade here, I took puts, and we trended up most of the day, I still profited on this little downturn here, and flow was super bearish. So at the time, I thought that we were going to pretty much be in a downtrend for most of the day up until calls started to come up, and then this red convergence flip. So I got stopped out at break even on my runners, but I did trim most of my profits around 20%. So it pretty much kicked me out at break even around this gray convergence flip, which is really cool to see, because once this gray convergence flipped on market net flow, remember, gray convergence does the opposite of what the leading flow is. So since puts were in the lead here, gray convergence flips usually mean choppiness or the opposite of flow. So since puts were above, that means an uptrend. So that's exactly what happened here. Let me do a little bit of a screenshot. You guys can, I can sketch this out a little bit better for you and show you what I mean. So you can see that it notified you of the gray convergence flip right here on SPY, and then we had a pretty nice uptrend on SPY from like 448.50 all the way up to 450, 450.50 or so. So that's what I mean with gray convergence, and that's pretty much what I do every single time with my plays. I always take most of my profits around 20%, and then I hold runners, and hopefully those runners turn out to be pretty profitable, but sometimes they don't, like today, and that's okay. That's just what happens. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? So I can go through the rest of the day and kind of my thought process of what happened. I'm sure you guys are interested in that. So yeah, I was pretty much insta up. You can see 13%, 16%, and then and then it said contracts were up 33% at 728. So that was pretty much like 20 minutes after, not even 20 minutes after I got into that play. So I said, with this push up, our contracts hit break even, so I'm out on my runners, and we will run it back again if we get a gray to red flip. So at that time, puts were still in the lead, and then it wasn't up until the gray convergence flip, and then the calls coming up a lot. So you can see here what I posted. So you can see that calls were coming up at the time at 11:18 a.m. is when I took that, 11:18 Eastern time. These charts are in. So I kind of show here in this chart the green line is coming up, which are calls, and then this red convergence flip up here, and then it did its job, is what I'm showing in this little diagram here. Okay, and then there was one other thing I do want to talk about that did pretty well, which is this right here at 8:31 Pacific time. This 451 went pretty negative. This 451 line, which is this orange line, 451. I can blow it up a little bit more. 451, you can see that it's heading down. And what that means is price tends to follow it if it goes down negative enough. So since this is trending down and it's about like a negative 250 gamma exposure, in the millions, that to me pretty much signified that they were going to go up more and price was going to follow towards that 451 level. So if we pinpoint it here on the chart, when I took the screenshot, it was 8:31 a.m. and that was, let me do a little line here so you guys can see. Where's my line? There it is, vertical line. 8:31 was right here. So at that line, this candle was at 449.35 right there when I posted this chart. And you can see exactly what happened about an hour later, an hour and a half or so. Price continued to go up and up and up towards that 451 level, which is, oh, you can't see it because my big honking head is in the way. But it almost hit 440 or 451. I'm sorry. It almost hit 451 within 20 cents or so. So price followed towards that 451 level within an hour and a half, which is really cool to see. And then pretty much it was just flat the rest of the day. We trended down once it hit that close to that 451 level, and it pretty much bounced between 449 and 450 the rest of the day. Up until earnings. So Amazon beat earnings like a lot. So Amazon's up, let me see. Amazon's up 9% after hours today, which is insane. But they reported before Apple. Apple also beat earnings, but it wasn't as great as Amazon did. So I think investors were kind of expecting Apple to do just as good as Amazon, if not better. And that's kind of why Apple tanked. Apple's down, let's see. Apple's down 2% after hours. It was down a lot worse than that, actually. But I think that's kind of what happened after hours as far as Apple and Amazon goes. Amazon did very, very well, blew earnings out the water. And then Apple did okay. They did beat, but it didn't beat as well as Amazon did. So that's kind of what happens with earnings, guys. That's why I don't play them, because even if Apple beats, or any stock for that matter, any company beats, it could go whichever way it pleases. So that's kind of where we're at right now with earnings and the market recap. Yeah, I enjoy making these, guys. So if you want to do me a favor, give me a like, a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. Subscribe, please. My goal is to at least have like 3,000 subscribers by the end of this year, which would be pretty awesome, because I'm just a normal dad, spitting facts, spitting my opinion here. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love y'all. See ya.